You probably thought we were getting more video essay slop. Now we're going back to the classics, this classic Draco M format. Just putting pictures onto an MS Paint thing and speaking my truth. And my truth right now is that I'm feeling a bit woke. I'm feeling a bit smart. A bit smarter than some of these guys. Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, maybe even that Homer guy. And I'm not talking about the Simpson. No, I clear all of these guys with ease. Very simply. But why do I think that? Well, there's something that's been on my mind and it's got me pondering quite a lot, like Lisa Simpson. If you've ever seen that show, leave a comment if you've seen The Simpsons before. In fact, subscribe to the channel. That's a great idea. But getting into the meat and bones of it, on a very recent video I posted about Rivals 2 and Heavies, I made a claim around the lines of,
this character is the best example of a zoner in the game. His range is immaculate and his win condition doesn't require him to actually interact with the opponent.
and this kind fellow right here, let's leave a circle right here. This kind fellow with the Joseph's anime profile picture left a remark saying the script must have been written before Opsa came out, no? And another individual with an unrecognizable profile picture left another comment suggesting Fleet should also be a better zoner than Lockxodon. Well, the truth is I made this script like about a month ago and I did consider both those characters. And I do believe that Lockxodon is the better example of a zoner. The character I did not consider is the Shark. But he kind of scares me. I don't want to talk about him because I'm probably going to say something that's extremely wrong. And so I'm just going to like pretend he doesn't exist. He's maybe a better example of a zoner, but that's not really the point. He's probably a more real zoner than these two, I'm going to be real. But these two are fake zoners. Frauds. This guy's the realest zoner that I've ever seen. I need this pencil to be thicker. Thicker from my good boy Lockxodon. This guy camps you out more than these guys do. I want to explain like the philosophy by why I'm going to stand by that statement regardless, because I feel like it's something interesting to just talk about and think on. So we have to ask, what even is this zoning thing? We gotta break it down to the roots right now, the origins of it, the place where it all began, fighting games. And the real ones, I'm not talking about no smashy bros right here. In traditional fighters, zoner is a very well-defined archetype, and like there's literally a definition for it on like a very commonly used wiki for fighting games. And here you get a clear definition. I'm not gonna read the whole thing, but basically it boils down to characters who have good range or good projectiles and all that. So, you know, you got your Dhalsims and your Axles, you know, guys, long arms, long axe side things, whatever. And you got your JPs, your Happy Chaoses. I'm pretty sure those count. I'm not balling on like these games as hard as I'm balling on platform fighters, so maybe I get a thing or two wrong. Feel free to correct me down below. But that's at least how I have interpreted it for like my entire life, that these characters are all under the zoner umbrella. And that's just like how it's been, you know, it's a pretty broad term. Like zoner is just guys that like to stay away. That's their whole win condition. They win the game by keeping you at an arm's length and doing their thing, you know? You take that definition over to Smash and I used a very specific word when I describe it, yet Smash just like mutilates this thing because you got projectile slop and you got sorties, which are basically like what these two are, but now they're like different things because these characters don't function the way that these ones want to. Essentially, you're not going to put them in the same conversation because they don't want to really do the same thing. It varies a lot from traditional fighting games because like you can literally win a round in Street Fighter or like at any other fighting game by depleting someone's HP by like keeping them away. If you got an HP bar and you just like get them all the way down to 0, boom, that's it. Smash, you don't really do that. All of these guys, they love their projectiles, but they kind of have to go in at some point. Like, you're not going to get a kill with Toon Link bombs and all that, but you're going to get a lot of damage off of those interactions if you play them well. So your projectiles are still a core part of your kit. Olimar, he's going to be throwing his Pikmin and all that. A lot of projectile management. So that's where you get your projectile slop. And then you get your sorties, bro. I'm gonna call them sword fighters. I'm not calling them sorties anymore. This is actually like a messy guessy's ass term. referring to that whole like diagram of just terms that FGC people think Smash uses, but we sometimes do use them because we're kind of stupid. Leave a comment below if you're stupid. I'm kind of stupid too. But the swordies do like to play a range, but they don't really do it in a projectile way. They like to box at their range. So they kind of do have to approach you. Like Lucina has to approach you. Lucina has to get in. These guys have to get in, and they generally have a better time getting in because a lot of these guys tend to be fast. But they have to like approach you, move in, all of that because they don't have a projectile. So that's how Smash kind of changes the way that, you know, zoners zone. These aren't like the same archetype. It gets like weirder and weirder the more you get into the thick of it, I feel. Because all of a sudden, you look at a guy like Marth in Melee, there aren't any other sword fighters, well, there are other sword fighters, but let's be real, those guys are not real. You got like Roy with his noodle, and the Lynx are like projectile guys, so would you classify this guy as a zoner? I would. He kind of zones people out in his own way. He is playing at a range that nobody is really capable of contesting him at, and I feel like that's a pretty ample definition of what a zoner wants to do, keeping someone away. From what I was talking about before with zoners and how they need to get in at some point, Smash doesn't really have a lot of actual zoners, like characters that can actually play the whole keep away game the entire time. The best thing I can think of is Samus across most games, and that's not really a character design people are very fond of, I feel. So take that as you will. And like Robin, who was explicitly designed to not be able to camp the entire game. You have very, very strong projectiles in a lot of spots, but you actually can't use them all the time. You literally cannot. And you have like the worst mobility in the game as well. So props to that amazing game design on Sakurai. At the same time, why did you make like Snake? This guy is probably one of the best zoners like ever created, but he also just has some of the greatest scrapping tools ever known to man. Like this guy just has some of the best normals ever seen in Super Smashy Brothers Bros, but he also just has the best projectiles ever. He doesn't have to approach you. You watch a Hurt set and that man, sometimes he doesn't want to approach, and it's chill. Hurt is Hurt, bro. You're not going to contest Hurt when he's throwing his stuff at you. But this character can also just scrap when he wants, and it's kind of insane. Like there need to be more conversations about what Snake is doing to the public at this point in time, but that's not really the point of this video. The point is, zoners are a very weird concept in Smash already. They already break this definition, I feel, pretty hard, and there's not really a good definition for them, I feel. What people will call zoners in Smash is just guys that throw projectiles at you all the time. And you know, that's kind of fair. That's sort of what the philosophy the philosophy of what those other guys do, like the fighting game guys, and then you translate that into Revs of Ether. You can't do that. You can't have a Mii Gunner type character. They would be crucified instantly, burned at the stake. Go to super hell, bro. That's like not possible to have in this game because you have a parry button that just explodes anyone that tries to just play range all the time. It's literally not possible. Well, it's probably possible against like your little brother, and then they turn 4 years old and they realize, oh, I can press the button and beat this guy instantly sometimes. What? Yo, W game design from Dan Fernacey. I don't even know why I put these two here right now, but Lockxodon does kind of remind me of what a character like Smash 4 Mewtwo does. Projectiles in 4, they're not really like that great all around, but Mewtwo has one of the best projectiles in the game, paired with a very amazing disjoint, all things considered. And so that lets them play a very strong keep away game for most of the time. You know, you got the shadow ball down tilt, hot dog taco hamburger for the entire game. And Lox, he's also a fan of the hot dogs and the tacos, and even especially the hamburgers. He hits the lava stomp all the time. Throw a meatball or two in there. Delectable. These two, they cook the same meals, same type of flavors in very different ways though. Because Lox is, at the end of the day, a zoner. He zones quite efficiently. Unlike some of these guys, I feel like we need to touch on. I feel like these guys get construed into zoners, but they don't really zone the way a zoner be zoning. Do you feel me on that right now? The Fleet has a lot of projectiles in her kit. She is like literally the bow and arrow character, but she isn't really playing keep away with them. She is really using those projectiles to force her way in because she is a very scary character to actually interact with. She has a lot of aerials that you don't want to be close to, a lot of like very quick combo starters that force her into advantage. She's, at the end of the day, a character that wants to scrap a lot. She's not a character that wants to play her range. You can see that especially well in side special, which is a move that is specifically designed for taking space over a long period of time. You can't just throw side special and expect it to do anything for you. You need to actually move your body in with it and do things. Start a combo, start an edge guard, start something. It's a projectile with a very specific purpose. I'd say it's like very considerable to like a Zetaburn fireball, and I don't think you'd call Zetaburn a zoner, would you? Let's think about that. Let's also think about how forward special isn't even really a projectile. It has a projectile, but it's technically not a projectile. The initial hit, it's literally not a projectile, it's just a hit. I think that's very funny, and the actual projectile of it is quite niche and like what you actually do with it. I see some cool tech chase stuff a lot of the time, but it's not really all that. And you can also like edge guard with it. It's not really a tool that you use in neutral. It's not a tool you use to like force people out. You see some cheese stuff online. You see cheese stuff online from all these guys. Let's keep it a buck. Let's keep it a stack 50. Online is not real in this game. Online's not real in any single video game. So never let anyone tell you that it is. But she does not zone like the other ones do. And don't even talk to me about like the wedge special, about like back throw, about like all the random moves that just like spawn in a bow and arrow that don't mean anything. She has projectiles. It doesn't really make her a prominent zoner. She really loves to scrap, and nobody likes to scrap with her, I'll tell you that much. So instantly I say, this character, she does not zone. Ops is also interesting because she has one of the most unique projectiles in the game with Cloud. You can summon it in so many ways, and it has like a lot of applications, and because of that I can't even like compare it to anything because it does not have any proper analog. But you can use it to like force people out, but you can also use it for so much other stuff, and in order to actually like use Ops efficiently you need to be doing a lot of different things with that Cloud. So I would not really say it works as a traditional like zoning tool. It helps her to make people approach her, like the same thing as Fleet, because these two are ultimately like pretty slow characters at the end of the day. They need something to like bait people in order to do their thing, and Cloud is a part of that. It's used to zone, but it's also used for a lot of other stuff. I feel like that shouldn't count, but if it counts, hey, it's all subjective, man. But what's not subjective is that F-2 is not really zoning, man. Let's keep it a buck. Let's keep it $2.50 even. It's not really doing all too much. It's a funny move to use, but you get parried once and you don't use it again. You never touch that move a second time, I'll tell you that much. So she can be very annoying in some spots with just the F tilts and the clouds. Like, oh, I got you with that mix. You thought I was gonna put a cloud there. No, I F tilted there. Nope. We're just denying random like spaces and not actually doing anything, so you get a bunch of random chip damage. If you try and like continually zone with this character, it does not work. So also fake. I really don't want to talk about the shark because I really don't know what he does. Like, I'm being so real. He's been in the game for like 3 months, and I really don't know what his whole deal is. I know that he throws projectiles and he makes stuff, and he's got a treasure chest and he says, yeah! It's very entertaining, but I don't really know what his whole deal is. He's got a sword, so that kind of puts him in the Lockxodon power scale tier, and he also has like many more projectiles than Lockxodon, many of which have more uses than Lockxodon and is bolder. He's also just weird, so I feel like if I speak on him, somebody will get very mad at me. Let's just call him a zoner and keep the people happy. Is he a better zoner than Lox? Sure, man. I don't really care that much. Let's just go with that. So I feel like we've gotten to a point where this is already kind of convoluted and stupid. So we're saying that none of the guys in Rivals of Ether are actual zoners, except Lockxodon, because he is the only one that actually fits this definition to like a pretty good T. Because, you know, he's got a powerful method of attacking from a long range with his disjoints. I don't actually want to make it that big, so it covers up the definition, but he's got this whole thing, powerful method of attacking from a long range. He's got so many disjoints, it's like kind of crazy. And zoners are kind of weak. Once you approach them, they are generally designed to have tools that aren't really that good up close, unless you're this guy. Yeah, he's wonderful, isn't he? Most zoners don't have good tools up close, and Lockxodon also fits that bill. He has like jab, which, to be fair, that move is probably a bit too strong for what it's worth, but a lot of his moves aren't really safe to use at a close range. He really has to make people fight to close the gap. Versus these two are very scary characters up close. You don't want to get touched by a Fleet Nair or like kicked by Opsa. Like, you don't want to be in that type of range against those characters, and Lox, he wants to keep you away. So I feel like ignoring the Smash Bros definition, which I have established, it is not real. There's no way to define zoners with Smash Bros because they're fake. You can't use the Rivals of Ether 2 terms because this is all stupid. You can't have a Smash Bros zoner in Rivals 2, so why? Yeah, none of this really matters. It just like twisted my brain a bit. Archetypes aren't like really a thing that matter at the end of the day. Can't like really classify a lot of characters beyond very typical like, oh, this guy's a brawler. He hits people very hard. Oh, this guy's a rushdown. He likes to really rush people down, huh? And then you get any more complicated than that and things just start to fall apart completely. Therefore, I will call Lockxodon the best example of a zoner because it fits the definition of a zoner that has been established by other video games and not Smash Bros. Because Smash Bros. Is not a real video game. I think that's all I really wanted to say. I think so.